So we started off getting a lot of messages about everyone want to play this bingo that they had played around town. Well, come to find out, they had bingo had been canceled or stopped 2 or 3 times locally here in Mountain, Tennessee, and we found out most likely one of the reasons. Now, when I say this, I guess when I get it adjusted, let me just say this: for the program that we used, you have to pay for it every time you do it. Not once a month, not once a year, not weekly, but every time you play bingo. It was about 160, 165, 175, something around there. And basically, what it's for is for locals to play bingo and have fun. But in Tennessee, there are bingo laws, and you can't force people to pay. You can't force people to eat. Things of that nature. Things of that nature. So I knew it was a risk. My biggest concern was, did I have enough faith in the locals or people that came out of town to actually support the business to cover the cost of bringing the program? And that faith was misguided, apparently. Now, when I say this and do this video, don't think that not everybody supported the business. And when I say support the business, I mean buy food while you're there. Because the small business owner has to pay lights, rent, employees, food costs, pay for the program. Not to mention you're sitting in seats that could be used for paying customers. We actually had so many people come in for bingo. We had to rent tables and chairs the first time. Second time had 2 tables donated, but we still had to buy chairs. So all these chairs, all of our tables, all of the dining area that we had was for people to sit for free. Okay? So we had encouraged people to support us and to at least buy some food so we could actually pay for the bingo and pass that. Because what you're wanting as a business owner in a situation like mine, where it's a restaurant, slash pool hall, is of course the pool area was still open for the pool players. The arcades was still open, but your main bread and butter is all filled up with free seats. Those seats are not making money. And I didn't mind doing that to a point if these people, and I'll go ahead and say it, I'll say 75% of them were entitled. They felt that they had to have it their way. They were upset with the seats. We should have better seats. We should do this. We should do that. You're not paying. You should be grateful that I brought it to Milan again, when 3 places that I was told canceled it. People aren't grateful anymore. And that's something we learned with the Soul situation. So much so, and I won't name 3 of the locations that do it. Okay? The owners contacted me, either through Facebook to get my number or to send their number, or just called me directly and said, look, you don't know what you're getting into. Let me explain what we've had to deal with. Some of the problems with these individuals that feel like they should have their bingo, some of them were upset because their food would get cold. You order food and you let it sit on the table. This was what one of the other businesses that told me we experienced this as well. Not only that, but they expected the food to be replaced after they let it sit there. I don't ever remember in my time going to a restaurant and sitting at Longhorn or Steakhouse or even McDonald's and talking to my friend or playing on my phone, and then my food got cold. It was like, waitress, my food's cold. Can you replace it? No. Never done it. Never would. I'm not rude. Well, I can be rude, but yeah, not going to do that. And the whole thing, that was just one of the issues that I was warned about before we even started getting serious with this bingo situation locally. Another problem was they wanted to show up at a certain time. Um, we even opened our doors before we opened because it was raining that day for individuals to come in, sit down, get out of the rain, stuff like that. We did that day. And literally, four people were complaining because our kitchen wasn't open. When clearly our numbers, our opening was all over Facebook. It was public. It was the chamber announced it, all that. People knew what time we opened. We'd even told them we're not open yet. The kitchen's getting ready. We had a big thing where we wanted to clean the kitchen every day first. All that. Oh, they weren't happy about that. But they still stayed for bingo. It made an issue, made constant issues. And it come to the point where actually I'd spoken to another owner of a location, and I'm not going to give the location of the name, just because he gave me a lot of advice. He warned me. There was times they had to literally escort 60 to 65-year-old people out of his location because they were acting like children. That is absurd. Now, I'm not going to say I condone the action, but I will say this. I do understand it to a point because there could be some money on the line. I get that. At one instance, we had a person who thought she won the $4 or $5 million not $1 million, $400 or $500 jackpot or something, and she didn't. She was upset about it, but she didn't act up. She was upset and disappointed. Who wouldn't be? $400 or $500 is a decent amount nowadays. I mean, that's possibly a car payment or rent for that month, or part of your utility bill. So I understand that. Well, I don't know if it's rent nowadays, but I mean, it could be partial rent payment. But she still didn't come back and act up or anything like that. Another location had called me and said the major problem was they didn't want to buy food and they didn't want to support the business. And I think what it was is the customers didn't understand that we as the owners paid for this to happen. We paid a company, and we were all using the same company, to provide the equipment, which was a laptop, a speaker, a phone. I mean, not a phone, a microphone, the cords, all of that. And it was to bring people in. It was to bring people in so they could eventually know the place and support. If they would have bought a $10 burger that came with fries, that would have helped supported us. There was one day we had over 42 people playing this game at our location, and I'll upload pictures of what it looked like inside and stuff. We didn't have that many seats because we did have two buildings in Milan, Tennessee. We had a small building and then another one that was connected to it for the pool hall area and arcades, and this was the dining area into the kitchen and storage. But 45 seats. We had 7 people order food. And we have basic foods. Wasn't nothing fancy. Hamburgers, hot dogs, milkshakes, French fries. Later on, we brought in chili dogs, chili fries because it was fall. Things like that. Just basic foods. And you could order the burger any way you want. There was a classic. There was a triple burger that we called the 9-ball. There was even our special burger, the Bulldog burger. But, and the Bulldog burger was the most expensive on the menu. It was the highlight of our menu is how we pushed it because it represented Milan the Bulldogs. But these people wasn't having it. The 70 to 75% were just rude, aggressive, and literally the person who ran the program, who I talked to, told me that a lot of these people, he even mentioned them and called them bingo Barbies, and they felt entitled that they should have this, even though it's free to them. Now I get it. There isn't many things in this world left for free, and it is somewhat, I guess, entertainment for them. I didn't get into it, but if it's entertainment for them, I get it. But I think what didn't ring to me is the ignorance of the people that came because I guess they didn't understand we had to pay for it. They didn't understand that the lights came on, we had to pay for them. They didn't understand that they were sitting in seats of possible paying customers. There was times we had customers come in and saw that it was filled and they left. Um, they didn't want to wait. We had someone at the door ask if they wanted to wait, but bingo, be about an hour, hour and a half. They weren't going to wait that long, and everybody was going to stay for the entire thing. So I understood that from customers trying to come in, and it's like, and I'm not even going to call the 75% customers because they didn't buy anything. They were just there for the free entertainment. So it's like they didn't understand that, and I had an individual come to me, and she was a regular at other places. And she said, just out of curiosity, do we have to buy food? And I said, no, you don't have to buy food because I legally can't ask you to. Um, because there is bingo laws in Tennessee. But I do ask that you support us and buy something so we can keep this going because we do have to pay for this. And even in ads on Facebook and stuff like that or social media posts, I would put, we pay for you to play. And that way they understood we were giving them something. We were giving them a gift. And they should be thankful, to buy french fries and a drink or buy a milkshake and fries. You didn't have to buy a meal or a $10 meal, $10 burger and fries, single burger, $2 extra at bacon if you want. I think it was a $2 extra or $1.75. Something like that. Um, it was it was the rudest bunch of people that I have dealt with in a long time. So I had my brother running the place. He was running the kitchen. He said I could do Tuesdays, it'd be no problem. We had a friend of ours there who was calling the bingo. And that's something else. Some places would have to pay people to even call the bingo. Or they would use staff that's already online. She are already on their payroll. She volunteered to do it. She also volunteered to do our karaoke and stuff. She went and bought her own equipment. Cassie, and I feel confident I could say her name, Cassie definitely helped Dave's Pool Hall because she felt Milan needed something like this. Milan needed something to get kids off the street, to bring them in, to have entertainment for adults and things like this. This wasn't just a teen bar or teen location. This was a family-oriented pool hall. And the concept is happening. You can look it up. The concept is happening in a lot of places. And I didn't even know that whenever I did it. I did it because I remember great memories I had with my uncle playing pool. But anyway, so it, I got a call that night or a text from a customer and said that the food was coming out slow. And that, of course, is on me as Dave's Pool Hall, as the owner. And then I started checking the cameras. And I started to look and see that it was pretty packed, which normally it was. 40, I think it was 37 to 42 people there, if I remember the POS system. Um, no, if I remember the cameras and everything, counting everything. Counting everybody, it's about 42 people there that I could saw, that I saw. So I was like, okay. So I'm looking in the kitchen, I'm seeing everybody working. It's just, we didn't have the best equipment because we couldn't be grandfathered in with a deep fryer or, stovetop inside. So all that, we had to cook outside. So I understood that. Wasn't much of a distance from outside to inside to the kitchen. Um, Called my brother. I was like, what's going on? You said you got this. I could come up there anytime. He swore he's got it. It was just a couple of rude customers. I understood it because it was bingo. So I started watching the cameras even more.